Hey, welcome back to PennLive.com. That's Greg Pickel. I'm Dustin Hockensmith. Talking some Penn State recruiting here. The big news, obviously, coming off on the weekend. Dorian Hardy, the four-star defensive end from Paramus Catholic in New Jersey, the number 160 player overall in the country, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite. He gives his commitment to Penn State, the 13th in the class. A little bit of positive news to break out of that funk that comes when Justin Fields, one of the top quarterbacks, one of the top players in the country, decommits. So some good news and get back on the board with the defensive end, something that they needed right now.
Yeah, no question about it, Dustin. I think that when you looked at Penn State's defensive line board in this cycle, you had a pretty good feeling that they were going to get a couple of these guys. So far, they've only gotten one, of course, in Hardy. There's a couple other guys on the board that we can talk about later. But when you look at what he's able to do, is he a defensive end or is he a defensive tackle, and does it matter? I mean, I think that's the question at this point. He's 6'5", 240. He has a big frame. He looks to be in really good shape, and I think Penn State will be able to mold him however it wants him to, or nature's going to take over and make him bigger and have to move inside. So really good get for Penn State. I know there were a lot of schools that were giving him a long look. Penn State was one of the ones that was on him first. And at the end of the day, again, we see it happen where a school that gets in early generally has a leg up. For Penn State, it had a foot in the door pretty much as soon as schools started offering him as a sophomore. Obviously, when you can get a foot in the door at Paramus Catholic in New Jersey, his high school, that's a big deal as well. They produce a lot of talent. And he'll follow in the footsteps of a lot of guys that have come out of that school and made an impact at the next level.
He's one of these examples of when James Franklin talks about building relationships over a matter of years and having that come to fruition. He's one of the early names from the 18 class that came up, and they finally, from start to finish, a really good recruiting job by them. I think anything talking about how he projects is a little bit premature, but there's something needs to happen just based on what his film looks like. And you never want to rule anything out. So either I think he needs to get a little bit more explosive coming out of his stance, or he's going to bulk up and he's going to play at least some kind of hybrid role like Ryan Buchholz. That's something you mentioned earlier in the week. Something needs to happen where he either gets bigger or gets faster, and Penn State has time to do that, and you should have every confidence in Dwight Galt and that strength and conditioning staff to do whatever needs to happen. So a long time before he arrives on campus, he's a grown man right now, and I think a really good football player, and I think you appreciate that now and just know that somewhere, shape, or form, he's either going to get bigger or he's going to get faster, and that's going to dictate where he ends up ultimately at Penn State. He's a guy that gives them options. He's a really good player, a really good get for Penn State. That's Greg Pickel. I'm Dustin Hockensmith, talking Penn State recruiting here on PennLive.com.